Hey guys, I'm Bella, the maker mama boss lady behind Fiber and Fox, and today I was supposed to be doing a podcast, but we're gonna do this instead today. This is a special episode. I'm gonna be going through some of my spring, it's not really a spring collection, but favorites of mine in my design lineup that I reach for spring and summer and just kind of year round, but the ones that are real springy. I wanted to do this video last week and I didn't quite get around to it and just stuff came up. But the reasoning for it last week was that I finished rebranding and editing, reformatting, re-uploading all 24 of my patterns into Etsy and Ravelry. Some of them I had to do twice because I messed it up once, but I have now officially rebranded all of the patterns on both Etsy and Rav under the new Fiber and Fox brand. If you're new here, I was Bella's Custom Crochets up until quite recently. So finished the whole rebrand and I wanted to celebrate. I was doing a pattern sale and I wanted to put a video out for you about some of my spring favorites in my collection. So that's what this is. Typically I'd be filming a podcast today, but I'm waiting on something in the mail, so I figured we'd do this episode instead. I did say I was Bella. I am a Fiber and Fox. Everything you need to know about me is linked down below the video, and there's also going to be a link to my blog where you're going to find show notes of sorts for this video. It's going to have all the links to the patterns. It's going to have any links to any other pattern drop posts or videos or tutorials or anything that might be relevant. Dyers and the like. So any information for anything that I'm talking about, link down below in the show notes on the blog. Thank you for being here. If you're new and you happen to just come across me for looking for springtime crochet, I am a crochet designer and I focus on designing modern and vibrant patterns that are lean towards indie dyed yarns, but could look awesome in any yarn and on any body and any person. So let's talk my favorite spring shawls and garments. Like I said, down below this video there's going to be links, a link that takes you over to the patterns and more details about individual patterns. I'm going to try to be brief so this doesn't last forever and ever because I've already done pattern drop videos for most of these. Some of them don't have them because they're older designs, but anywhere that I have more information for you, I'll make sure to link that if you want to know about dyers or see other tester photos or anything else really. I'm going to throw in one picture for each design just to give you a little preview, but definitely jump over to either that blog post or check out project pages on Ravelry, hashtags on Instagram, all of the above for more inspiration. Up first, I'm going to do the shawls and then I'm going to do the garments. The one that I am wearing is the Serenity and Shiloh shawl. This came out last spring, 2020, and it was just birthed out of needing to do something repetitive with my hands, which you know is always, but particularly spring of 2020. I needed something that brought peace, and serenity is a word that means like tranquility and peace, and Shiloh is a biblical word that means place of rest and just like wholeness of peace. So yeah. I will take it off and show it to you, but we're going to put pictures in so you can see a little bit better because most of these are going to be hard to get on screen as usual. But this is one that starts and goes end to end with some increases and then we do some decreases and we end up over here. So it is a even shaped triangle. I'm sure there's a mathematical word, but it's not like asymmetrical is what I'm trying to say. Isosceles? I don't know. Some sort of triangle. And this one is in fingering weight yarn. It's got 3 colors of fingering weight. And if you're intimidated by fingering weight yarn, this is one that uses a really open, this is a great way to show open airy things by shoving your fingers through them. Open airy gauge. It's a very large hook size for the yarn. And it goes relatively quickly. There's 2 basic stitch motifs throughout the pattern. Both are charted and written instructions as well. Charted out and it gets pretty repetitive. You're just doing some basic increases and decreases and switching up like color usage, but the stitch motifs are just 2 basic things throughout. So nothing super complicated. I will link the actual pattern drop video for you in which I go into details about the yarns that I used and then tester photos and some other inspiration and whatnot. But this is one that I can wear it year round, but it's so super light. I think the whole thing is like 5 ounces or something. It is ridiculously light and airy. I use some plant-based, is that right? Some plant fibers mixed with, I think, like alpaca fibers. So it's like linen, hemp, silk, alpaca, really light, really nicely drapey yarns. But, wow, sentences, guys. But it's really great in any fingering weight yarn. And you could probably even mess around with gauge and try other weight yarns, but your size would just be, it's already pretty big. So you probably wouldn't want it in a larger weight. But it's really nice for summer, early spring. I'm one of those people that I hate air conditioning. Like I don't like to be hot. I definitely run warm and I don't like to be warm, but I hate anything blowing on me. Even like a ceiling fan, if I can feel it circulating, I'm freezing. That's attractive. So yeah, it's nice to have something either covering my neck or like covering my shoulders. Like if we're in church, I usually need a sweater. And yeah, so shawls are great for that. So this is a year round, but perfect for springtime. So I am not going to do a wardrobe change throughout because that's just going to get complicated and confusing. So I'm going to show you the rest. This is the next shawl I want to talk about. This is my Title Fades DK version. There is a worsted weight version of this pattern as well, worsted or Aran weight. And this is written for 3 colors of DK weight, and it's got the option to have a like subtle fade to it. You can see the first 2 colors there blend together really beautifully, and then I use the 3rd color as kind of a pop. But you could do a really nice ombre, you could do a really nice fade, or you could do some really nice bright contrasty things. So this is a triangle shawl that starts up here and then you increase out until you get full-fledged triangle-iness. I am really good at describing triangle shapes and I punch the wall. It has beaded tassels, which are optional, but why would you not want beaded tassels? Those are great. In a really pretty textured edging. Really simple. This one I lay out, there's no fancy stitch patterns, it's a pretty basic stitch, very repetitive. I lay out in the pattern how the colors fade together, so there's no like guessing on the fading. I know a lot of times fade patterns are like, and now fade the yarns. Like this is laid out row by row when you're switching colors, so you know what's going on. And I think that this stitch lends itself really beautifully to like blending yarns because it kind of like bleeds over into the next row. And out of all the shawls that I own, this is probably my most worn year-round. I really like the weight of a DK weight shawl. I don't really wear it in the summer, being honest. Don't wear it in summer, but springtime, and then layered over things, under things throughout fall and winter. But for spring, it's really nice when you like want to go out for a walk and you don't like want a coat, but also like your neck is chilly. So I'm not going to put it on over. That's insanity. But this I really love, and it's a very, maybe not brand new beginner friendly, but advanced beginner, simple stitch pattern, simple increases on the edge, nothing fancy, and you don't really need to keep track of like a stitch count. You should make sure that you're like increasing evenly and one side isn't getting bigger faster, but it's pretty forgiving that if you have an extra stitch or not enough stitches, you can just squeak one in and you'll be fine. So this isn't one that you need to be counting row by row or anything. And yeah. I think DK weight is a great option if you're intimidated by fingering weight yarn. Maybe you're more used to working with worsted. DK weight is a great option to kind of start moving towards finer yarns. And I think also it's easier to find DK weights commercially or like store-bought than it is to find like a commercially made fingering weight yarn. There's not as many options if indie dyed isn't something that works for you right now. But there's definitely, you can get lots of awesome DKs, which is a number 3 weight. So 3 skeins of DK for the Title Fades DK Shawl. I love this one. I love the texture. I love the fading. I love the beaded tassels. I just love it all. Title Fades DK. If you've been around here for any length of time, you've probably seen this one. This is kind of my, I don't want to say claim to fame, but this is probably what I'm most known for, maybe, I hope. This is the Dandelion Dance Shawl. This one came out in spring of 2019, so it's been around for a bit. It's definitely my most popular pattern to date. And it's kind of got this super pretty, it has this super pretty, what I call dandelion stitch, which is something I've used in a lot of patterns since, Dandelion Dreams Baby Blanket and Dandelion Drops Wall Hanging that just came out. It's a modified daisy or star stitch, and this is really the star of the show here, but it's a 4-color DK weight again. This one's an asymmetrical triangle. It's more of like a boomerang shape. So we start over here and we do some increasing, decreasing business. And then we keep increasing, decreasing. It's really hard to show you the shape, but I'll try to get a picture that captures that a little better. And then I don't like blocking out my face, but that's what we got going on. And then it starts curving back up again. So this one is definitely, I would say, too warm. I mean, depending on where you live. And I know summer and spring and whatnot is depending on, again, hemispheres and all of that. But for where I am in New England, we're going spring and summer. DK is a little warm for summer, and especially since this one is very large and you can wrap it at least twice around myself. Yeah, this is a little cozy for the summer, but it has some serious springtime vibes. And definitely check out the project pages and the hashtag for this one. This one doesn't have a pattern drop video or post because this was before I started doing that. I should probably start going back and doing some throwback ones, but I'm already swamped. So at some point that would be awesome to do some throwbacks, but check out the hashtag and the project pages for color inspiration because there's been so many of these made in like color combos I wouldn't have thought of, and they're all just like perfect. I, of course, love the dandelions in a yellow, but literally anything you make it in, it's just a gorgeous textured stitch. And this one is definitely advanced beginner. It leans towards intermediate, but there's a stitch tutorial, photo stitch tutorial and a video tutorial for the tricky bits. And the increasing and the decreasing changes a little bit throughout. You're maintaining the same shape because you're doing different stitch patterns. The way that you're doing it is slightly different. But this is a great one if you want something a little bit more challenging and you don't want to just be doing a giant basic shawl where you're doing the same thing the whole time. This one's really nice because you do one stitch pattern for a little bit and then you're like, okay, I'm really bored of this. And then it changes and then you have a new color and then you're like, okay, I'm kind of over it. And then it changes again. So it's kind of like a stitch sampler and there's always something new coming. So if you're someone that loses interest on large projects, this is a good one because it will keep you on your toes. And it has a full stitch count, row by row. Something that I try to do with shawls and large objects is have a very clear, this is how many stitches you need in every single row. So there's a separate PDF that literally has a line by line breakdown of stitch count so you're not confused about if you increased or decreased in the wrong spot for something. So very, I think, user-friendly pattern, a lot of photos in there, and there's a coloring sheet as well for picking out your colors. You know I love to color, guys. So that is the Dandelion Dance Shawl, and I'd say maybe a more time-consuming pattern. You could definitely make it for spring still, and wear it into the fall and winter and whatnot, and again, depending on where you live, but this is one that I reach for a lot in the spring just because I think the colors and the like dandelion-y bits, oh, got my hair there, dandelion bits are just so just springy and happy, but I wear this baby year round. This next one, funnily enough, it was a fall pattern release, but I think it's probably the most spring appropriate weight one that I have. This is a lace weight. Don't be intimidated. It's okay. Hang on. It's lace weight. And this is the Forgotten Lore shawl. Look at how you can see me through it. That's how open and drapey it is. And again, really hard to show on screen, but this one is a dragon or batwing shape. So it's got some real fanciful vibes to it, but it's like when you're wearing it, it's not like Kamakani or anything, which if you're into that, that's awesome too. But it's definitely something you could work into a regular wardrobe without it feeling costumey, which I really like because who doesn't want to play a little bit of dress up but still look like an adult? Yeah. So this is the Forgotten Lore. And this one is probably the most, not the most complicated, but this one is definitely with the shaping a little unusual. So it does keep basically repeating throughout. I don't know if you can see, it's hard to show the picture. So you got this really lacy part and then you have these puff stitches that create like almost like a bone type structure to the shawl. You can kind of see them. That's hard to show, but you saw in the picture. Really pretty puff stitch detail that runs in nice straight lines down to like the dragon-y points. And it has tassels again because I put tassels everywhere. So it is very repetitive. And again, I have the stitch counts for you, and there is a video as well on this one on how to get started. And once you get started, you really need to get to row, I think it's like 6 or 7, and then everything is like the same from there pretty much. So it's those first couple rows where you're like, wait, how is this shaping working? I promise if you stick with it and just count, and I'm always there if you need to email too, but it is definitely different in the shaping, but I think if you have a determination and you can get up to like row 10, you'll just be cruising and everything will be fine. So it's just the getting started. It's a little bit unusual. But I really like this one, and while it is lace weight, and again, it's worked at a pretty large gauge, so don't be too intimidated, but if you don't have lace weight and you want to use fingering, or if you actually want to use any yarn, you could definitely change the hook size, because this is one that the like final stitch count, there's no like border or anything, so you don't need to have a certain amount of stitches to be done. You can really just make it and keep on a shaping until you're happy with the size and the shape. And it's written to be in one solid color, but testers did it in gradients, and you could definitely stripe it as well if you had multiple yarns that you wanted to use. You could do some really cool like edging stuff. Yeah, so this one I think is pretty unique, and I love this purple for me, but I've seen it in a lot of really awesome colors, and this is one that looks really cool draped over your shoulders. It doesn't look really cool when you're already wearing another shawl, but looks really cool because you get the dragon wing shape still. But I usually wear it like I'm wearing this one, like typical triangle shawl, and you kind of subtly get the edge shaping, and it's super light, super drapey, and again, really good for if you're like air conditioning or phobic. That is not a word. If air conditioning drives you crazy, this is a good option. Or when people are like, on cool summer nights. I don't know where these luxurious cool summer nights that you all are having are, but if anyone is still leaving their house and having fabulous cool summer nights, option. And around here recently, you've heard me talk about the Hope in a Future wrap a whole bunch, so I will try to not go into too much depth on this one. Definitely check out the pattern drop video, because this one has a ton of inspiration and stuff behind it that I would love to share with you, but it will take me forever here. So go check out the pattern drop video. This is a recent collaboration that just launched this year, and while it is not necessarily a shawl, it's more of a scarf or a wrap. It is again fingering weight, really open and lacy and drapey, and really nice over the shoulders. I really want someone to make like a super, again with the X, I should really take this shawl off. Let's get rid of this one. Not great with this outfit, but I really want someone to make like a fancy one and go to like some fancy gala wearing their fancy wrap. Is anyone going to fancy galas? I've never been to a fancy gala non-pandemic, so maybe galas are your life. I don't know, they're not mine. But I just really like that like over the shoulder look. I think it's really cool. And again, tassels. And if you don't particularly love these tassels, if you check out the pattern drop or the tester photos, they did all sorts of crazy, awesome, amazing things with the tassels. So definitely check that one out. This one definitely has the potential to be a lightweight like winter scarf, depending on where you live. Again, it's not going to be like the super warmest thing because it's super wash fingering weight. But yeah. You can wrap it around like a shawl or a scarf, wear it over your shoulders. It's got options, and yeah, it just makes me happy with the rainbow. So definitely check out the pattern drop for the Hope in a Future wrap for more info on that one. Now we've come to what I'm wearing, so I'll show you to the best of my ability, again with photos, but I felt like I should wear at least one of the designs in the video. This is the Deco tee. This came out last spring-ish, summer? Something like that. It's a great spring or summer piece. This is the one that has the lace panel in the back. We'll put in pictures. But it is a DK weight. This one is in Pima cotton, but you could definitely do it in a wool or an acrylic or whatever you'd like. I like the cotton for summer. It's nice and breathable, but it is a little heavier than maybe a wool. So just keep that in mind. Again, check out the pattern testers, photos, and other project pages on Rav for inspiration on yours. But I love this as a 2-color option with like the back panel in a different color, but people also have done it in a solid. It's really awesome. It's a little bit oversized. It's about tunic length to pattern, but you can adjust. You could do a crop. I kind of want to make a cropped one now. I wear cropped things now, guys. It's been a wild year. I don't want to make another one, but it's a really basic T in the front, like literally a T shape. Very simple. And then the Fandeco panel in the back with the Fandeco stitch. There is a video tutorial for that and just some really basic, like just attaching the panel shaping stuff, but nothing crazy, nothing fancy, advanced beginner. And like other than the panel in the back, it's all very repetitive and pretty mindless other than like having to do like that shaping. Other than that, pretty simple. And this is a size inclusive from extra small up to 4X. And I know some people aren't super crazy about using the letters instead of the like number sizes, inches and whatnot, but my brain gets really lost in the inches, centimeters, and also like the like actual fit of the garment versus like the positive ease of the garment. So if you're ever wondering about the exact measurements, I'm going to use the letter sizes here. I know it's not maybe the best option, but I would rather give you that and then point you in the direction of the numbers specific to the garments, because a lot of times like the positive ease, I don't want it to be confusing as to what sizes are available. So check the pattern listings. I always have that info in there, and again the pattern drop videos and whatnot. So this one is, yeah, great. I mean, I can wear it year round if I throw a cardigan over, but then you lose the pretty panel in the back. So it's definitely a spring summer wear for me. And yeah, I love this one. It feels super fancy and a little bit sassy, but like still not like formal or wild. So for me, I love it. And it's got like a nice breathable sleeve, a nice breathable fit, and yeah, a dense enough fabric. Like I don't have any like other tank top or anything on underneath it, and I feel like it gives enough coverage but still breathability. So I really like that Fandeco tee. And then up next, dun, da, da. How was that transition? Was that a good transition, guys? Probably not. The cuts are always awkward, but do you want to watch me reaching into the laundry basket on the floor? Probably not. Dun, da, da, da. Fandeco Vest. So if you were a fan, this one actually came out first, and I probably should have done it in the other order, but here we are, we've committed. And it's inside out. But this is the original Fandeco motif, which you can see a little better on this one than the panel on the back. This is a stitch motif that I've come up with. The fan and the deco is like a fan shape plus Art Deco. That's the short version, so go watch the pattern drop. But this is a just like mid-thigh length vest. It's got gorgeous like curved corners, which I feel like are pretty unique. I haven't seen these in a lot of crocheted garments. Curved corners on the bottom, a really nice crochet ribbing around the edge. This one's a worsted weight, so if you're intimidated by the finer weight yarns, this is a great option, but it's still nice and breathable. This one is in, I'm not even sure if this yarn exists anymore, so I'm not going to fixate on what the yarn is, but I believe it was a bamboo and viscose blend. Oh no, bamboo and viscose might be the same thing. It's a bamboo and something blend. Bamboo and cotton? I don't remember. Again, the video. But it's nice and airy and breathable. Again, I wear this one year round. It's a little funky, like if you are someone that wears a winter coat. My winter coat is only like waist length, so if I wear a long vest under it, I feel like that looks a little weird, but other than dead of winter, it's a really great option. And it also makes a really cute beach cover-up. Not like a lot of coverage because you know it's a lacy vest, but a cute, like I want to wear something adorable with my bathing suit sort of situation. And it's got this optional cute like ropey tassel. Tassels everywhere, always, on the front. And this one is also extra small up to 4XL, which is going forward what all of my patterns are going to be. We'll talk about in a second. There's two that I need to go back and revisit and just bump up the sizes a little bit, but in the future, that is my goal, to have them at least up to 4X, because that tends to be the tester size range that I can get, and maybe we'll adjust more in the future. But I try to, in the tester photos, make sure they're represented on as large of a size range as I can find people for. So if you're ever wondering, hey, is this going to look good on me? Always check project pages or hashtags. Or pattern drop videos or posts, because I always share tester photos and I want to make sure that you know that you're going to look awesome. This one's going to be intensely difficult to show you because it is like duster length, which is like really long length. I feel like duster might be like regional. But it's a really long vest with fringe, because when you can't have tassels, you need fringe. This is the Stegander vest. The pictures will be better. This is also in worsted weight, and this one's in the Lion Brand's jeans. So it's a very accessible, I know this would be a lot of yarn for an indie dyed garment. Even for my size, it's a lot of yarn, a lot of length. So a commercially available yarn is a great option. This is another open lacy vest motif. And on the bottom here we have optional, but of course you need it, fringe. This is one that, again, this is an acrylic, so it's maybe not the most breathable thing, but people have done it in cotton and linen type blends as well, which would be maybe more suitable for summer. And when I had it initially tested, a lot of people used it as a beach cover as well, which was super cute. And I think it's even cute with like shorts, the long vest with shorts. I think that's pretty adorable. But this one I wear, again, other than with the winter coat, because it just looks really funny when you have like a dress of tassels coming out of the bottom. But really awesome year round. And it makes really awesome if you want to go take some cool photos with shadows. If you hold it out, you look really awesome because you have this a crochet shadow with fringe. My 2-year-old thinks it's cool. You might not think it's that cool. But it's got a nice like ribbing applied edging on the front, and this one runs, ooh, now I'm panicking that I might have this wrong. This definitely goes up to extra large. I think this one goes to 2XL. This was my first garment pattern, and I've since learned a lot about grading and size inclusivity, so it is one that I want to revisit. There's definitely a lot of wiggle room in the pattern because that's a very oversized, like very large armhole space, and even the sizes that are in the pattern, I think it's like extra small through medium and then large to, I think it's 2XL, but check the listing. But yeah, it's like a 3 sizes grouped together kind of size range, so it's not meant to be a fitted garment, and there's a lot of forgiving just wiggle room because it's oversized. And you can easily adjust the length. I'm kind of on the shorter side, and I like it. This one hits me with the fringe like mid-calf, but you could easily make it longer or shorter depending on your length. But it is one that I do want to go back and revisit once I get all this fiber and fox business smoothed out a little bit more. I have a long to-do list there, but I do want to go back and re-tidy up, and not re-tidy up, but I already updated them. What is the word that I'm looking for? I want to regrade. That's it. Regrade them into at least up to 4X. So stay tuned for that. It is coming. Yeah, that's something that I want to offer in all of my patterns. Just a little bit of math that I have to go back and do, and then I'll send you another update. But Stegander vest. I really like this one, and I love this purple. And lastly, we have the Manoa Cardi, which all of my being wants to call the Moana Cardi every time I spell it out, because my daughter is now obsessed with Moana. But you can go check out, there is a pattern drop post. I don't believe there's a video for this one. There might be, I could be wrong. But definitely go check out the story there behind the name. Let me actually show it to you. So this is a variation after the Stegander. I wanted to make a cardigan, but I wanted it to be a little less open, a little more fabric, I guess. So this is again, a worsted weight, but this one leans more towards maybe like a DK. I think this yarn is also discontinued. This was that Karen X Pantone bamboo thing that was a thing for a minute. So it's a very sleek and kind of shiny yarn, but this is another one that people did in cottons. And you can definitely sub in. This is definitely not a summer friendly, but it's got a cute 3/4 length sleeve that you could again adjust the sleeve to whatever length it is that you'd like it to be, with a cute like little detail on the edge there mimicking the rest. I didn't want like a full lace sleeve because I felt like I'd get my fingers stuck in it every time I put my arms in. But it's very similar to the Stegander in construction. It's got a wider button band. And this one, I believe, goes up to 2X, but it's another that I need to go back and just regrade and just update for my full sizing range there. But it's the same stitch motif, just slightly denser of a fabric. And this one is not, unless you're maybe working in like an office building. Do people still work in office buildings? Comment below. If you are in a work setting or like church or something, It's a good, air conditioner cover-up. There's a recurring theme here, guys. But this is definitely one that's nice to reach for in spring when you don't want a full-on coat, but it's got a little bit of airflow, but I feel like my arms get colder than my body, probably like core temperature and whatnot. So this has a little bit of arm coverage, and like I said, you could make it a full length, you could make it a short sleeve. It would be useless to make it sleeveless because the standard vest exists, but yeah, and this is one that you can adjust the length on as well if you want just like a hip length cardigan and not a longer. This one is like right above knee length, maybe, mid-thigh, kind of like the Deco fit. So easily you could adjust the length on that as well. So that's what I have to share with you for garments and shawls for spring 2021 collection. Not really a collection. That's just what I have in my Etsy and Ravelry shop at this time. Like I said, everything is linked, and I should have said this at the beginning and led with this, but the reason I wanted to share these with you when you're watching this video, within a week of this video going live, there's going to be a sale going on. It's actually been going on for the last week, but I didn't get the video recorded, so I'm bumping the sale a little longer. But through the 22nd of April, 2021, if you're watching in the future, I'm sorry, they're still on Etsy and Ravelry, but they're not on sale anymore. All of my patterns, any of the patterns mentioned here or otherwise, you can get 10% off on with the code FIBERFOXES. I will put that on the screen for you through the 22nd of April. And usually I only do sales on Ravelry, but Ravelry is kind of a pain in the booty recently, and like for the last year. So I wanted to make sure it was on Etsy as well. So the sale coupon code works on Etsy or Ravelry, all and any of your pattern purchases. So it's a great time to stock up. That's why I wanted to share the spring ones with you. But if you want to stock up and start making Christmas gifts, go ahead and grab some cowls and hats. But yeah, thank you for your support. And I know I keep saying it, but like, thank you for sticking with me through this rebrand thing, because I feel like I'm just confusing people. So thank you for being here. And I will resume with the podcast hopefully next week. Like I said, I'm waiting on something in the mail. But yeah, I'm going to draw that giveaway winner, and I will see you in podcast episode 30. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today and for all of your support. If you grab a pattern, make sure you tag me on Instagram. I would love to see what you're making, what yarns you're choosing, progress photos, finished photos, all of it. Use the hashtags in the pattern and tag me at fiber.and.fox on Instagram. I cannot wait to see. Add those project pages to Ravelry. Like, subscribe, follow. Love me forever. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Happy spring. Happy making.